So our theme this month is fun, but this is what I say it's called. Fabulousness unfolding now. Everybody say that. Fabulousness unfolding now. How does that feel? That to me is what fun is all about. And I have spent this month being fabulous, allowing fabulousness to be all around me, which is why I just woke up one morning and said, I'm going to New York. I'm going to see 5 Broadway shows in 4 days. And Kevin was like, well, we're really busy and we have a lot to do, and you sure you want to do that? And I said, I'll miss you. To which point he said, just get 2 tickets. So we both went. And so we were fabulousness unfolding now. That doesn't mean you get a stranglehold on fun and make sure it happens. It means, for me, the consciousness of fun is someone who literally holds lightly to the world, bringing forth all the opportunities to have fun. So look for the good in everything. Look for the fun in everything. Right, Deb? No matter what, look for the fun in everything. So Ralph Waldo Emerson said this. He said, the shallow believe in luck or in circumstance. The strong believe in cause and effect. There is no happenstance, or he says here, luck or circumstance. Your life is unfolding precisely based on how you are using your mind. Someone just went, ugh. Your life is unfolding based on how you are reacting to the world around you. Because frankly, you're a part of what is unfolding around you. So if we're saying fabulousness unfolding now, if it's not, then the question becomes, what have you been doing with your mind up to this point? And are you willing to see the good? Because that's how you're using your mind. Do you get caught up in anything that appears that may not seem so good? Or are you willing to see the good in everything, no matter what? That's why this song to me is so prolific. So, before we left for New York, I said to Kevin, I said, here's the deal. We're going to New York. We haven't been there in years. And last time I was there, I was very clear I didn't need to go back. And I didn't need to ever live there again. And I had not such a positive experience there. It seemed too crowded and just too dirty, and it just seemed like I didn't want to go be there again, Broadway or not. This time, I said, you know what? We are going to have an amazing week. I'm going to enjoy everything. Everything is going to unfold perfectly because that's how I decide it will unfold. And Kevin was very good. Kevin was like, okay, let's do it. So we get on a plane. And the plane was a little late, but that was fine. It was unfolding perfectly. It meant the air pockets were going to be better. So we got on our plane. We flew there. We got in. We were about an hour late getting in, so we were supposed to get in around midnight. We got in at 1. We get there, and the luggage, we have priority, sky priority. We go down to pick up our luggage. There's no luggage, like, for a whole hour. And people all around me are going insane. There are people, they had to bring in guards to get this one woman and carry her out because she was screaming about her luggage. And I'm just like, probably I shouldn't give a lecture in letting life unfold perfectly because I didn't know everybody around me. So Kevin, who was doing great, he actually was following our plan. He finally just said, wake me up when they come, and laid on the floor of baggage claim and just went to sleep. And I was like, well, good for him. So our luggage came out about an hour later. So we did not get to the hotel till almost 3 a.m. No, it was great. It was an easy, no one was on the street. It was an easy ride. So my idea of congested New York streets was not happening. So I was like, see, this is how it works. Life is unfolding perfectly. So we go into this gorgeous, the Hilton, we had a Hilton? Marriott, thank you. Marriott Sheraton, right at 52nd and 7th. You know the one that has the big awning with all the flowers underneath it? It was so beautiful. So we get in there, and the beautiful little young man at the desk, he said, oh, I know you're supposed to get an upgrade to a suite, but we don't have one available tonight. And I was like, it's totally fine. We don't need a suite right now. Just get me a bed. I won't even unpack. And tomorrow, tell us where you want to move us. And he kind of looked at us and smiled. He was like, okay. And then he's looking on his computer. He goes, oh, you know what? I found one. So he hands us the keys. We go upstairs. A lot of you heard this if you're on BODs. We go upstairs. We put the key. It opens. And we walk into another lobby. And I was like, are we in a private area? We're in a lobby. We're going to have to find our room. And the lobby just was this spacious marble lobby with a staircase going up. And I turn and look over here, and it's this gigantic living room with like 30-foot windows, all of Broadway. And I was like, you need to go ask him if he's made a mistake. And Kevin did. He went back downstairs, and as he's walking towards the desk, the guy goes, is your room okay? And Kevin's like, what do you like to drink? And we did buy him a nice big bottle of tequila. He gave us the presidential suite. And the lobby was enormous, marble lobby, staircase up to, it was 3,600 square feet. It was as big as our house in Studio City. And the living room was just this gorgeous living room, and then a gigantic dining room with a 10-seat dining room table, a huge kitchen, a pantry with a wet bar. What am I missing? Oh, and then downstairs, a whole second suite with its own gigantic bathroom. It was unbelievable. And then we go up, we finally said, let's see what's upstairs. Because first we thought, this must be a suite down here. Maybe there's a door at the top that's locked. We go upstairs. It's like we've just died and gone to heaven. And Kevin has this huge office for himself with windows to this. It was so big, we had every view of the city. And we're on the 45th floor. So we're just looking at I was like, treatment works. Your mind creates your experience, period, end of sentence. Because this has not happened to us before. And if the plane had been on time, we'd have had somebody else on a different shift who might not have been as nice, who might have said, sorry, we don't have something for, who knows? Who knows? I just know when you decide life will unfold perfectly, when you look for the good, you find the good. As Ralph Waldo Emerson says, it's not luck, it's not circumstance, cause and effect. So are you causing that for your life? And so our week unfolded, started there, and just went on and on and on. The whole week was just a beautiful week. We actually threw a party in the suite for friends in New York because we could, because we had this space. We were like, we got to throw a party. We can't just let this sit here. So people would come in and they'd be like, wow, ministry's doing well. I was like, yeah, but you know what? Ministry is doing well because it's the consciousness that creates this. It's consciousness, folks. You know how they say about politics, it's the economy? In our field, it's the consciousness. Where is your consciousness? So then the week unfolded perfectly. We got gorgeous wonderful seats to see The Strange Loop, which was my only reason to go and see it. Crazy show, but amazing. We saw Company with Patti LuPone. We saw Music Man with Hugh Jackman. And then we saw our favorite, Plaza Suite, with Matthew Broderick and Sarah Jessica Parker. And it was like a master class in comedy. It was so funny. We were tired from laughing so hard. It was so amazing. So it was this beautiful, amazing week. And then on Friday, Roe v. Wade gets overturned. And everyone I know is in a state of panic. And you see the Clarence Thomas's statement that we need to also look at contraceptive rights, stop having people be able to just have contraceptives, to let's take a look at gay marriage, same-sex marriage, because all of the reasons why they overturned Roe v. Wade are applicable to all these other things that some people don't like and don't want. So I had to say to myself, how do I, and certainly a couple of my ministers that are speaking today called me and said, could you just give me some help in telling me how we incorporate fun into Roe v. Wade being overturned? And I said, yeah, it's a challenge, isn't it? I said, but the challenge comes, to be honest, from that quote. Because we either do or we do not believe that everything is working for our highest and best. And if we don't, we can get sucked up into things like this. Yesterday was the end of a 40-week class that I taught called Advanced Consciousness Studies. And there are a number of people in this room that just went through 40 weeks of quantum metaphysics, working their minds into a frenzy around what we teach. Would you all stand if you've just graduated from that class? Thank you. So one of the things we sat right here in this sanctuary talking about yesterday was, I asked the question, what happened yesterday? That was my only question. What happened yesterday? And everybody that answered the question, including the students that were online from Toronto and Los Angeles, had their own perspective on what happened yesterday. And it's very easy for us to get caught up in the relative world of what happened yesterday. I mean, I can tell you what happened. I can go all the way back to, in my opinion, to Barack Obama not being able to put his own Supreme Court justice on the seat. I can go to all of these different things, which is what most people go to, and then all the way through to today. Those are the relative facts. Whether you're Democrat, Republican, or independent, there are relative facts that we can all disagree on, because that's what happens with relative facts. Everybody has their own story and their own need to tell their story their way to prove their point. In the spiritual realm, which is where we're all sitting today, which is why some of my friends and ministers were like, I don't think we should talk about it today. I was like, are you insane? How can you not talk about the elephant in the room? You must, from a spiritual perspective. And there it is. The law of cause and effect. We either do or we do not believe that our life is unfolding perfectly, which means our country is unfolding perfectly. Everything is unfolding perfectly. We don't know why. We can't get far enough back to see what is going on. But I started my talk, and I want you to just feel the energy in the room right now. I went from my palatial hotel suite to Roe v. Wade has been overturned. The drastic shift in energy with those two things shows just how human we are and shows just how invested we are in our reaction to things. When in fact, when I got stage 4 cancer, my answer was, hangnail cancer, there's no difference. One energy around all of it. And there needs to be one energy around all of it. Now, I know a lot of people are disappointed, and I know a lot of people are, upset. But either everything does work for our highest and best or it doesn't, and I'm sorry, you cannot push me off of that point. Robert Bitzer, who was one of Ernest Holmes' students, he said, I never step off principle, even on special occasions. And this could be a special occasion for everybody to get insane and crazy. Well, no, for 70% of the country to get crazy, and the other 30% to feel that they finally got what they felt was the right thing. But we have to start understanding that there's 100% of God in everything. And the relative world should never stop us. So could you give me the next quote by Ernest Holmes? I live in the faith that there is a presence and power greater than I am that nurtures and supports me in ways I could not even imagine. So is there? Do you believe this? Can you live from this truth? That there is a power and a presence within everything that moves us forward no matter what. We don't know, whether, depending on which side of this equation you are on. We don't know what we do, if what we do is going to move something one way or another. But I know, in a spiritual sense, that no matter what is going on, if it shows up, there's a consciousness behind it. If it shows up, it has shown up because of the law of cause and effect. It needed to, and therefore it is. And so it is. Now, what are you going to do about it? That's the next step. It's just, what is your opinion? How do you feel? And what would you like to do to keep moving us forward? To keep moving whatever it is forward. So when we talk about fun, the title of my talk today is Good Fun. I so wish that was me. Good fun. So what's the difference between fun and good fun? Well, I'll tell you. It's your ability to look at anything, see the good in it, and by seeing the good, having fun. Just being willing to see the good translates into having fun. In something as big as what we are just experiencing now with the Supreme Court, I mean, the day before the Supreme Court came out for, lessening our gun laws, which I am totally against personally. So it's really important to ask ourselves, can I see the good in this no matter what? No matter what, am I willing to see the good in it? And that's really our job. That is our job as religious scientists. That is our job as spiritual beings. There's that line, I'm a spiritual being living in I'm a human being living in a spiritual experience. Well, no. You are a spiritual human being. One fully orbed thing. So the question we're left with today is, are we going to let the relative world change our consciousness, change how we approach the world we live in? It was funny. When we went to see Plaza Suite at the end of our week, most people had said to us, it's not a good show. They're not good in it. The reviews were terrible, and the reviews were terrible. But for some reason, Kevin and I were like, we're going to listen. Show of hands, how many of you have gone to a movie where everybody said it was terrible and you loved it? Right? So we decide we're just going to go see Plaza Suite. We knew the producers, we'd get great seats. It was sold out. And when's the next time we're going to get to see Sarah Jessica Parker and Matthew Broderick starring in a show together? So I was like, how bad could it be? I have said that before and it hasn't worked out. But this time, how bad could it be? So we go. It was amazing. These two were so funny. There was a moment in the third act that was just hilarious, where Matthew Broderick, it's about this married couple whose daughter has locked herself in the bathroom at the Plaza Suite, and she's not coming out on her wedding day. And of course, he spent a fortune. So he's like, you're getting married! And so Matthew Broderick asks her to step back, and he says, I'm breaking the door down. And he runs over and hits the door. And we were like as close as you are, Annie. He hits the door, and he just stands there for a second. People start giggling, and he just very quietly goes, call a doctor. And stands there, and then picks up his arm and starts like, I broke it. Since Jerry Lewis, I haven't seen something so funny. It was so funny, in fact, that Sarah Jessica Parker, who's watching him, I could see her start to laugh. And she had to turn away because she was losing it. And you can't pay enough to see that. It's like seeing Lucy and Ricky on set. It was so amazing. But we could have listened to Race Consciousness. I did read all the reviews when it opened. We could have listened to what someone else's opinion was. In everything we're talking about today, there's an opinion. Even the Supreme Court opinions are nothing more than opinions. So I knew how tough today was going to be for ministers, the ministers that chose to talk about what's really going on in the world. But here's what's not tough for me. Talking about what's going on in the world in juxtaposition to what's going on in the universe. Because they're very different things, my friends. What's going on in the world will change tomorrow. What's going on in the world will change in the next generation and the one after that. Are you going to spend your life deciding how much fun and enjoyment you're going to have in life based on what's going on? Or are you going to decide to have fun, enjoy life, no matter what's going on, and always look for the good in everything, no matter what? It's a challenging time for a lot of people, but I'm here today to say we get to be the ripple that starts to heal what's going on in our country. We get to be the consciousness that sees the good in everything. If you can look at my final quote. And the sun and the moon sometimes argue over who will tuck me in at night. If you think I am having more fun than anyone on this planet, you're absolutely correct. And that is by the poet Hafiz. So I'd like to suggest that you be the one having more fun than anyone on the planet. Who would like to take me up on that? Yeah? So now the thing is, though, prove it. You have to go out and prove it. find out where Lori bought this top and go get one, male or female, and just wear it around. Because my son's already proven that to me. It's up to us to prove these tenets, these principles, this philosophy, that right where I am, God is, and how I use my mind dictates how I get to live my life. Because trust me, every single one of you has a plaza suite inside of them, just waiting for you to show up and live in it. We all have a much higher understanding than we're used to living. Let's rise up and start living from that level of consciousness, that right where I am, namaste.